Welcome. For today's lesson, we're going to cover outliers. So for the agenda, we're going to go over some vocabulary, then we're going to compute the outliers, and we're going to see the effect they have on the mean, median, and mode. Let's begin with vocabulary. So we have outlier. An outlier is a data point that lies outside the overall pattern in the distribution. And here's how we calculate them. To get the lower bound, we get Q1 and subtract it by the IQR multiplied by 1.5. To get the upper bound, we get a Q3 and we add it by the interquartile range multiplied by 1.5. If you have values on your data set that are lower than your lower bound, then they are outliers. Likewise, if you have values on the data set that are bigger than your upper bound, then they are outliers as well. So let's unpackage that with an example. So here we have 10, 12, 11, etc., etc., etc. We have to find the 5-number summary and determine any outliers. And first thing is first, we have to rearrange the data set from least to greatest, which I've already done here. And now we can begin getting that 5-number summary, beginning with the minimum, which is going to be your smallest value, that's 10. And then your maximum, which is going to be your largest value, and that's going to be 22. Let's begin to shave off the edges so we can get the median. So let's begin cutting off the 10 and the 22. Let's cut off the 11 and the 17. Another 11 with the 15. Let's do that one more time. One more time. And here we have two medians, 12 and 13. And to get the median of this, we're going to have to add them up and take the average. So we get 12 plus 13. Divide that by 2. We're going to get 25 over 2, which is 12.5. So the median here is going to be 12.5. And now we have to get Q1 and Q3. To get Q1, we're going to have to get the median of the lower half. And to get Q3, we're going to have to get the median of the upper half. Since we had two medians, one of them is going to go on the left, one of them is going to go on the right. And now let's get the median of the lower half, which is Q1. So we can eliminate the 10 and the 12. Get rid of this, get rid of that. And here we have two medians. So 11 plus 11 over 2. That's going to be 22 over 2, which gives us 11. So Q1 is going to be 11. Let's do the same to get a Q3 here. So let's get rid of the 13. Get rid of the 22, get rid of the 14, get rid of the 17. And here we have two medians. And you can do the work if you'd like, but Q3 is going to be 14.5. And here I've recorded my 5-number summary. The only thing to do now is to get the IQR. And if you recall, the IQR is the difference between Q3 and Q1. So Q3 is 14.5 and Q1 is going to be 11. We go ahead and subtract this. We're going to get a total of 3.5. So 3.5 is the IQR. And now we have everything needed to compute the lower bound and the upper bound and then spot any outliers here. To calculate the lower bound, we're going to get Q1 and then subtract it by the product of 1.5 and the IQR. So Q1 we found to be 11. So let's do the substitution. Let's replace Q1 for 11. We're going to subtract that by 1.5 multiplied by the IQR, which you already calculated to be 3.5. And let's do the multiplication first. Let's do 1.5 times 3.5. And if you're using a calculator, please put the parentheses. Input it just as you see it. So here I'm going to get 11 and I'm going to subtract 5.25. And then 11 minus 5.25, we're going to get a total of 5.75. You can think about it as $11 and subtracting $5.25. So that's my lower bound, so I'm going to box that. And let's calculate the upper bound now. To calculate the upper bound, we're going to get Q3 and we're going to add it to the product of 1.5 and the IQR. So Q3, if we go back to our 5-number summary, we found to be 14.5. So let's replace Q3 for 14.5. And then we're going to add the product of these two, 1.5 and the IQR. So let's just do it. We have 1.5 times the IQR was 3.5, because again that's what we calculated here. And we've already done this computation. So here it's basically just 14.5 plus 5.25. You can think about this as 1450 plus 525. So here we're going to get a total of 19.75. And let's box that because that is the upper bound. I've rewritten the data set here. And now in order to spot any outliers, we're going to have to see if there are any numbers in our set that are lower than the lower bound. So let's scan through them. And we have to find numbers that are less than 5.75, and here we don't have any. So far we're good. But now we also have to find any values that are potentially bigger than our upper bound. So let's scan our data, and we see that there are, oh no, here there's one. So we actually do have an outlier. And the outlier is going to be 22. So in this scenario, we have a value that is too big. So let's record all of this together. And this is what you're going to do for the next, or for the couple examples that follow. So find the 5-number summary, get the IQR, find the upper and the lower bound, and then spot any outliers. If for some reason there are no outliers in your set, here you would just put no outliers. Alright, so go ahead, practice, and then I'll see you back for part 2.